What is up, guys? It is your boy, Jim Rat Crypto. Oh, I overslept again. Not in general, but it's Sunday, and I've been. Oh, Sam, I'm doing this horrible thing that happens to people that do crypto. I know it, where they start to stay up later, and they start to go to bed a little. They wake up a little later because it makes more sense. A little bit makes more sense because a lot of the info that I look for is just like all the dudes in the middle of the night. That's when they activate. That's when their Super Saiyan is activated. Mine's activated in the morning. My Super Saiyan's activated in the morning. Guys, I'm not exactly sure what we're going to be talking about today other than I want to review a couple things. There was so much alpha yesterday. So Sam, we should do a Twitter space yesterday while we were live, and I just cut it over and went to it. And dude, I want to talk to Sam about that, about some key points on that, because he brought up some of the alpha of the alpha of the alpha. He also said that using Kraken is probably your best bet. So that was a little sneaky alpha in there. But because I was listening to every word to see what I could pull from it, and there was a lot of good stuff. And I'm just gotta look at my page that I wrote everything. Oh, he mentioned that he doesn't think Hex will stay under 90%. He thinks, like he said, products with good product market fit have a hard time staying under 90% dips. And then I looked at the numbers, and then we were like, so that doesn't mean we can't floor further, but like the sticking point for something that actually has decent product market fit with a real reason for people to buy it, which is to pay yourself inflation over time. Guys, let's get into it. Sam is actually tired for once in his life. He had to do yard work yesterday. He's feeling a little tired. He's sore. His hands are busted up. You may not want to get dressed, Rod. You're turning into a streamer. Oh no. Is this what happens? I used to be a straight up and down guy. Anyway, let's jump out. Crypto in the morning. DeFi proof. You already know.
You already know what time it is. Crypto in the morning. Crypto in the morning. Crypto in the morning. Waiting on phone. Crypto in the morning. 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 Waiting on phone. Crypto in the morning. Crypto in the morning. Smoking no blunt on my way to the gym. 11 a.m. I'm already tuned in. Got me some hex and I'm making a stake. Got me some hedron, I'm making it rain. Pay me some maxi and that's just in case. Jim ready to send me to show you the way. Crypto in the morning, 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 crypto in the morning.
Yo, what is up? GRC is running out real quick, probably to get dressed. Hope you guys are doing absolutely amazing. It is good to see everybody here in the chat. What's up, Bullish? What is good? Is it morning? Yes, it is morning. I got up several hours ago, and I am cranking. We have Martin in the house. Hey, man. You addressed the Hex bonus dust scam. No, hey, if you want to leave a link here, we can check it out and educate people on it. I don't know anything about that yesterday. I didn't even turn on my computer yesterday. It was a fucking crazy day yesterday. We've Heinz Crypto. What's good? RH Max. I love this beat too. The new lyrics on it by Bullish is awesome. You guys give us a bicep in the chat there. So I got a couple updates though. I want to talk about the Ethereum merge, right? Because we've had a massive, right, 60+% increase in Ethereum price in about a month, like 60% increase in the price in about a month. That's freaking awesome. But what's actually going on with that, right? We've got sharding, several other pieces that are going to come together all into one. And I don't fully understand this. So I want to get a better idea of exactly what is taking place as Ethereum switches from proof of work to proof of stake, because I think that we could actually see, I get something on my chin there. I think that we're going to see the buy the news and sell. What's good, Hextech? Sell afterwards. I don't think that Ethereum is going to hold at 1600 personally. I think we can see this drop off. I would see things like this happen with Tesla. Not saying this is the case or that you should do any of the things that I do, but I want to talk about that. GRC will be back in a minute. Why was I out yesterday? Not that anybody probably gives a shit, but I'm gonna tell you that in terms of all the tree work that I did, my hands are sore. Like my knuckles are sore, my hands are sore, my wrists, to twist my wrists like this is sore. My forearms are both sore, and I probably have about 150 cuts across my hands and or legs. So I'm gonna talk about that. And LP liquidity providing. Made over $1,200 this month. $1,200 this month in liquidity providing. I don't know why there's so many people who don't do liquidity providing. It is freaking awesome. Like, why don't more people actually provide liquidity? It is a faster way to actually build a hex bag if that's what one is trying to do, right? Massive opportunity. So, yes, hex price is 4.2, right? 4.2. It'll be interesting to see how this holds. I did not listen to the RH thing yesterday because I have a house that I have these giant live oaks. They're called live oaks. There's multiple different types of oaks, but these live oaks are hanging over my house, and I'm going to get solar on there. And to put solar on, I got to cut back the trees, but it was going to be $8,000 to get the trees cut back if I have a company do that. Or I can go rent a truck, a boom lift, which is one of those lifts you can extend it out with a bucket and move it all around, and a couple chainsaws. And I hired this guy who used to work for my landscaping company, and I got it all done for $1,250. But that is where all like my forearms are so extremely sore. The pile is I'm 6'1". The pile is probably about 11 to 12 feet tall and 20 feet wide and about 18 feet deep, with logs in there, tons of wispy branches on there. It is all done. Buy a chainsaw and boom, and use those muscles. Yes. Oh man. I got it all done. It was about 95 degrees out, stupid humid yesterday. I live in Florida. Extremely hot. Going through shirts very quickly. By 10 o'clock, I switched shirts. Then I switched back to the wet shirt that dried off. And then I switched back again later in the afternoon. Got it all done. Got all the equipment back. I am thankful that I actually did the damage insurance, right? So when you go to rent something whether it's at Home Depot or Enterprise or any one of those places, Enterprise has a bunch of different types of insurance, but like when you go to Home Depot, you can get the damage insurance. That means if you fuck up that shit, then you don't have to pay for it, right? And 97% of the time, when I used to have my landscaping company, I would never get that. But yesterday or 2 days ago, I did get the damage insurance. And it was good because I ripped the cord off of the boom lift so that it doesn't have any trailer brakes or lights. And it was a torrential downpour on the way home. Jory in the house. Alan, what's good? What is Alan saying here right here? They do roll in the graces on a daily with all the softness going on. Yes, not you, Sam. Yes, correct. So I got that all trimmed up, got the back all trimmed up. The guy who helped me out was happy to make several $100 to help me out. I'm thankful that I got that all done. Now I can put solar in the house. Guys, solar is awesome. If you guys own a property and a business, there is massive opportunity with solar. You can put solar in your house and reduce your bill. And you're like, okay, but then I have to pay a bill for your mortgage or for the solar. Yes, that is a place. That is the case. But you can put solar on while reducing your monthly bill. and you get a 26% tax credit. That's whether you have a business or don't have a business. But if you have a business, and even if you own your house and say you put your house into LLC and then you rent from your LLC so that your house is a business, you can write off the entire cost of the system all in year one. All in year one. It is freaking awesome. And then the monthly bill shifts from being all toward the utility company to now I'm actually paying myself back. Bro,
53 comments while I took my break. Sam, did you give them crack cocaine?
bro, giving them an update.
I
was
watched
like,
a show yesterday. Sam, were you around when crack cocaine was very popular in the streets, or were you just not dealing with any of that?
I've been in my own fucking world for
Yeah,
over
me
a
too.
decade.
I just want to tell people the same thing. I'm like trying to think back to like not that in particular, but I'm like, I don't do anything. I don't leave my house.
People are like, what's going on in the news? I have no
well,
effing
no,
idea
you
what's
know,
going on in the news.
the news. I was watching this show yesterday, and it was just a perfect example of what we see in crypto all the time. And what do we see? It's about power. What if every single piece of cocaine? Guys, I have not done cocaine in a decade. So please, if you think I'm freaking cocaine, you're an idiot. But I was watching this show, and what did they talk about? They talked about the people that were selling the drugs to the United States did not feel like they were doing something illegal. They felt like they were selling merchandise. But we demonized it. And I'm not saying it's right or wrong. Smoking crack is hella wrong. But it was crazy because a lot of those people were like, it's not even we're selling produce. There's just rules. Right?
Well, no, it is. Yes.
It's the same fucking thing. If you really cut it back. Okay, Sam's over there selling supplements legally. Let's say I'm selling something not legally. The only thing that changes that is the people that make the rules don't mind what he's doing. Because I could potentially make a bigger impact. But Sam, there is that other side of it. Does it make the streets too violent? Is that the reason they were upset about it? Was it making the streets too violent? Does drug use put into the cities make the streets more violent? I think yes, but I think what's 100 times worse than that is that none of these drugs are actually the drug that they say they are anymore. If everyone in this world snorted a big, ginormous bag of real cocaine today, nothing would happen, except they would all party. But there's nothing called real stuff anymore. It's all a lie. It's all fake. Nothing's real anymore. The drugs aren't real. You know that. I mean, come on.
There's so many.
It's just like, if you even go down that rabbit hole, you're wrecked. I'm 28 years old. And Alan, did you really think I was 21? Holy shit.
BPC. I see BPC in the chat here from Hextech. BPC is an awesome product. Hey, Hextech, yes, I've been researching with BPC. Fucking awesome since 2016. Reminds me to take some of that today.
On BPC.
It is, we have our gut. So BPC is a peptide. What is a peptide? You can think of like amino acids and then peptides and then protein, where if you look at the actual language,
I can look up the three different.
But think of letters. Letters are like amino acids. Peptides are like words, and proteins are like entire sentences, right? So if that's how, because that's an easy way for people to kind of like relate to them. So amino acids are just going to be the letters of the alphabet, right? They're the building blocks to the effing words. A peptide is a word. BPC is a string of amino acids that's put together that is part of a longer string of amino acids that's called a sentence in this analogy, or a protein. It's naturally in your gut, and this thing is amazing for healing. Absolutely amazing for healing. In every single study that I've read on BPC, and I've read a bunch of them, I do YouTube videos on my other channel.
Dude, we need to do like a channel or some shit where like once a week we go on that channel And we just like every week we just do like a 2 hour or 1 hour with like the smartest guy, but we just make it like a scarce ass channel, like a really scarce channel, because it's like we kind of know that info already, and it's not your main shtick because you're already kind of holding like you're already dealing with that shit. But for the free education purposes, Sam, there's a couple of things I get so excited about. There's pieces of education that no one's hit the internet with yet, dude.
Oh yeah.
Dude, there is nobody. I'm going to tell you guys something extremely intimate about my life. And I'm going to tell you how I related it to, because I looked on YouTube for lots of this info. Couldn't find it. None. Zero. I look every day. I look everywhere. I know.
What is it?
And it was the withdrawal effects from a certain antidepressant that is labeled an antidepressant, but it's really not. Technically, depends what you want. I guess it could make you not depressed, and then it would be an antidepressant. But it's bupropion / the name that you would know on the street would be Wellbutrin. And I wanted to know if I stopped taking this medicine because they're jacking the rates up like out of fucking, like, you don't even know, like out of left field. Like it's like $300 a bottle or some shit. And then they're like, oh, you have to go through RX this. And I'm like, guys, get the fuck out of here. So I just start looking it up, and there is no information. When I say no, zero. You know how much information there is on Zoloft withdrawal?
Zoloft's like the number one brand or something, right?
But Zoloft's like the antidepressant that all the young girls and guys take, like the everyone. It's like the generic one, and there is about 100 million hours of literature and people talking about that shit. And then when it comes to this other medicine, they just doesn't hit the algo right. Right, whatever. Like, there's just information still in this day and age. If you think there's no ideas out there, if you think there's nothing going on, you're incorrect. I'm sitting here, and there's like 3 or 4 different things I could deploy that I know people aren't looking at. It might be a long shot, but I can tell that no one's looking at it yet. So that market's available, because guess what? My fingers were a twiddling for that search result, and I couldn't find it. There's other fingers twiddling. That's how it works. I'm starting to realize that whole like interconnected, like when you become a good researcher, you know what's available and what's not too. It's like, you know what to present better. It's cool, Sam. What do you think about I have YouTube in general? What you've seen in the fitness, crypto, all the industries combined. Is there spots that just lack and there's room for, or are they just not explosive enough with the marketing, you think?
I think you have a good point, though, that there's areas where everybody because one of the things, if you tell somebody to start making content, what do they tell you? Be like, I'm not an expert. I don't have an opinion. Like, they have an opinion, but they don't feel like they could, go up against an expert and have a conversation, right? But instead of thinking about it that way, like you just said, everybody has a unique story to tell and their points of view on the story. They can tell that in their own words, and it will be valuable to somebody. Now, whether it is going to touch millions and millions of people, that is different. But sharing your experience is tremendously, tremendously valuable. I think going through creating YouTube.
And just for anyone in here that does take that drug, if you were to put it on a scale of harshness for withdrawal effects, okay, and you were to put some drugs at the top, some drugs at the bottom, this drug would be at the very, very bottom. I mean, the very, very bottom. The only negative side effect is that I cannot keep my fucking eyes awake. Like, when I go to sleep, I'm just fucking asleep. Like something, because it's a dopamine reuptake inhibitor, Sam. So it's actually a dopamine receptor, which it's funny when you start looking down that path, Sam. It's an interesting topic because it's nothing like the serotonin reuptake inhibitors. It's just nothing. And those words are actually confusing.
So what's different? What's different about those? So dopamine reuptake inhibitor, for people who don't know, is basically your body makes neurotransmitters, and they're going to go around and do what they do in your fucking body, and then your body's going to kind of like recycle those out. So when you have a reuptake inhibitor, it's kind of like closing the door so that not as much gets out to be recycled, and it goes back into your body, and you're able to keep your levels at a higher state because your body.
Right. So imagine if there was a big trap door, guys, and then someone just kind of cranked it down, and it would be like, yeah, it's getting out, but your brain needs, well, in that theory, your brain needs more of that if you're taking the medication. But anyway. So the thing about these drugs that nobody understands is the half-life. It takes roughly 6 months for Zoloft to be effective. There is literally 10 people in the world that know that. I swear I've taken Zoloft so many times, in and out from so many doctors. And I know, and I've looked at the best researchers, you do not feel anything but a placebo effect when you take Zoloft for the first 6 months. The 6 months. Kids don't know that. They're giving them placebo pills, bro. Like, I'm saying it's the same pill, but like they don't know how long it actually takes. European's completely different. It has a quick half-life. It's out of your system very quick.
So you stopped taking it. How are you feeling?
Sleepy.
Like perpetually?
But happy, more smiley, more like, I don't care. You know, like, oh, the show's not fucking perfectly nailed down today and tightened like it's Sunday. I don't care.
So do you think that was actually maybe increasing the anxiety a little bit? Yeah.
I was pissed. That shit was making me hot. Made my blood pressure too high. Dude, if you took that medicine after 12, doctor never told me this once in my whole life. And if you're listening to this, mom, you just fucking, he was lying, bitch. But he never told me that it was an actual stimulant. So like, it's not like if you took an Adderall or something where you'd be like, bah. But it's like,
it's your increasing dopamine.
Right. It's increasing dopamine. If you actually take that drug at night, that is the reason. There was like 8 or 9 days in the last year where I did not sleep for whatever reason. And now I know why I didn't sleep, because I missed time taking that medication.
And you took it at nighttime?
Because I usually took things in the morning, but every once in a while I wake up or get drunk or like stay up real late or just forget. And then I take it later on. And then I read like all this literature about how like, oh, if you take that shit at night, you ain't going anywhere. And I was like,
Do you know Jerry Ward? He was in bodybuilding. He was one of those channels similar to Greg's or other people where he was talking about, steroids and SARMs, HGH, insulin, all that kind of stuff.
He's dead?
He's dead.
Dude, I just looked him up to see his YouTube and it popped up. Well, did that happen recently?
I saw it late last night or this morning. I don't remember. Yeah,
we also never talked about Boston Lloyd, dude, together. We both experienced that separately.
Yeah,
I experienced that.
I did that 8 years ago when he first did the steroid transformation. He did a 1-year steroid transformation from fat blob to like somebody that's going on stage, and a massive transformation. That was when I first learned about it.
He
back
reminded
in
me of you, but like way more reckless. Like
way more reckless.
Like weird reckless. Like if you put the reckless aside, the curiosity. He could not stop his curiosity, and he told everyone, right, Sam?
But he would just go so far.
What is that? No, he was what do the guys at jail do? They sell drugs until they die. Like they it's just like what do the guys in the street like? He loved it more than he wanted to continue, and he was a weird guy. And by watching hours and hours and hours of this motherfucker, because the Leo Longevity guy that you haven't watched so much, but I love. They did a podcast together every day. And that was right at the end of the career. Guess what? Leo hasn't came back since he died. He couldn't recover from it. He's too upset.
He hasn't been making videos?
He has, but it's just like not even like he was a full-time YouTuber before. He's not even a YouTuber anymore. Like he'll make a video. And then he got divorced, and then dude, like that whole tribal of that shit's gone. And Boston was in the middle of that. And that's why I'm going to show something that you're doing if you're still doing it. Guys, if you're in here and you know who Tony Hughes is, Sam's actually doing an interview with him, and I think another guy, but I can't remember. And I am going to be probably live streaming that. That's dope enough. I love Tony, like Tony Hughes. For everyone that wants Tony Hughes to be dead, there's another 1 out of 10 guy who knows that Tony Hughes deserves more recognition than most people. Because he did not care about the words that were coming out of your mouth. He was going to do it and show you about it. And that's why I love Tony Hughes. It never had to do with him effing trannies or doing none of that. I never cared. Just like Richard, never had to do with his money or anything. I really don't care. That's their shtick. It's about, like, if you're talking to Tony Hughes, he knows what you're talking about. If you're talking pharma.
He's a smart guy. I've actually I message him every once in a while, like because we connected a long time ago. He started his YouTube channel after I did, and the route that he took, I found his channel 7-8 years ago or whatever when he first started, before the bigger one got deleted. and that's when I first connected with him, and completely exploded because, like you mentioned, where you were searching for European withdrawals and it wasn't there, it opened the Pandora's box, so to speak, on a taboo subject. Because if I asked people in the chat here to openly talk about steroids, right, or testosterone,
This is Tony Hughes for anyone who doesn't know.
Seth,
This is him in fucking crazy form. Jesus.
that was a couple years ago. Did you have you ever heard of Seth Williams? He also has a bunch of YouTube channels, and New SARMs is one of his companies.
Let me
Seth Williams. He also this dude.
Oh yeah.
So
I was watching this guy. Like, I think I watched his first
years
couple
ago. He's had many channels. Anyways, Seth messages me too. But Seth, that dude you were just talking, moved over to Thailand as well. So Seth has moved over to Thailand. He's been there for about 2 months.
What convinces that this guys must love having. It's hot as hell down there.
But bro, Thailand.
I love it.
Bro, when I was in Thailand, we got a luxury hotel with a rooftop pool. Right where we walked to the beach. There's the market there where we would go have dinner. I would get 2 dinners because I eat like a lot of food. She'd get dinner, we get something to drink, and it would be like $8 to $12 for everything. The hotel was $29 a night. $29.
Can you detach emotionally when you go on? Were you with your girl?
Yeah.
Can you detach emotionally from work?
No, I was still making content. But
no, I'm asking for me. I just want to know your process because I'm going to be doing a few things the next few months. First time ever since I quit my job. Again, when I had my other job, my schedule was like my whole life's different. It's just a fucking 100% different. It's like I have to put that shit aside because my schedule's different, my everything's different, and I'm OCD, so I'm stuck to that life. But tell me a little bit about the question I just asked.
So staying on track with the girlfriend and work and related things.
Oh yeah, I want to know. Can you detach? I need to know that. I have to go somewhere. I'm scared.
That would probably be a good question to ask my girlfriend, because I.
That's a no. You could have just said no, Sam. My girl would be like, "You guys are idiots."
Oh no, so I do. So this afternoon, we're gonna do this. After this, I got another call for some other work-related stuff. It's on Sunday, like a lot of people don't work on Sundays, right? But I got another call. We got some things to do. Then I have errands to run, and then we're gonna be going to the beach for probably an hour, 2 hours. And like I won't do much. Well, actually, I'll do cardio while I'm at the beach and stretching, because it's like I can't just. Or I'll bring a book if I was actually going to sit there. Because I get anxiety if I'm just kind of like not doing something. I feel like I need to be doing something, or otherwise I just get like anxiety. But
that's what I get. That's my problem, dude. That's literally my problem. That's my problem too. If I'm not asleep, because sleep is a fair for me. Like I don't sleep. Like I'm not like a lazy sleeper. I'm just a. Is this your favorite morning show? You're my favorite DeFi freaking rapper, bro.
DeFi, it never gets old.
Dude,
hear my name in the song.
Could we play that new song that's a bop of his? I'm gonna have to pull it up. Sam, I want to tell you a little bit about. Okay, I don't even want to go down that road. Fail.
So update. So LP, right? Yeah, LP update. Yes. Liquidity providing. Over $1,200 since in 10 days. So whatever, that's a little over $100 a day. Thanks for putting Sam on the right side of the screen. There we go. So over $1,200.
People see you on one side, they don't like to see you on the other side.
Yeah.
Because Bullet pulls it back too. He says it just messes with your eyes.
We should do a show where we keep it the other way, the whole entire show, and then just flip flop back and forth, just so we can get more comments and engagement.
We should do a show on
okay. And I'm gonna be. I have an idea. So with the LP, I may potentially be switching the LP when it goes out of range, because it will go out of range at some point.
It's sticking in that damn range right now. Isn't it? Is this still around 15?
Yeah. But what do you think about? I saw this article. This is from a couple of days ago, yesterday actually, related to the merge. I don't fully understand the merge. Do you understand this merge? Because we've seen
a little bit. I understand the merge. It's a big freaking word salad bullshit. It's all word salad. They already have this available. They're just taking Ethereum 1 and turning it into they're moving it up. So they're taking the entire Ethereum system state now and they're moving it to Ethereum 2.0.
But the actual changes, right? With the actual changes from proof of work.
This is big. I want to read this. I need to understand this. So let's.
So this is short. It's from yesterday. It's short. Go ahead.
Okay, cool. Inside, should I read from the top or from? Okay.
Oh, Ethereum.
So Ethereum on proof of stake comprehensive guide to the merge. Okay, guys. So while we're talking, just understand this is Ethereum 2.0 that we're about to be talking about. This is their plan. This is the real way that it goes through for people that read the words on the screen. You know, not just a magical Ethereum 2.0 that it's not Pulse Chain. It's their own thing. It's way worse than Pulse Chain.
And this is also been, I think, is why we're seeing this massive run up in Ethereum prices. People are buying the rumor because I think people are buying this rumor that this merge is going to somehow miraculously change shit when what you just said was accurate, where they already have this for a decent portion of the right. It's already been running right alongside 1.0 and 2.0 have been running alongside each other. It's just 1.0 is like 87% of it and 13% is 2.0. Well, it's going to be going to all 2.0 and people are going to, I think there's going to be a big sell-off after this goes through. I think there's going to be a big sell-off. You're muted.
Dude, I do, but what even better, Sam, just make sure you keep your mind open both ways. What if this isn't the pump yet?
No, you're right.
And dude, I was talking to these guys yesterday that they said, if you don't think we can see 40K Bitcoin before another leg down, you're out of your mind, kid. And I was like, damn, you're right. Like, you're so right. They called me out right where I was sitting. And I was like, damn it, you guys are fucking great. Because they knew I was learning, right? Like, they knew I'm getting into it.
But it also could be 3 months of looking
exactly, guys.
Pull in enough people.
Something that's going to fuck your head up. Something is going to make your mind bend. But it could not. It's not what you expect. Doesn't mean forever no money. It could be the fact that you think you're going to be rich again forever, and then you have no money. So it's why the importance. I have not swapped basically anything in and out of USDC. I've just been like a couple funds here, there, just to like move things around. But I've been sticking and staying true to my point that I would never, ever, ever buy a 20K Bitcoin. Ever. There is nothing in this world that could make me pay $20,000 for a Bitcoin right now. And I'm going to stick to that.
If we hit 11, would you buy any?
Yeah.
I feel like I would too. No, just for nostalgic purposes. No.
Imagine we hit 5K, dude. Whoa, I'd be stoked out. I'd be stoked out. And I'm only saying that because of the rate of return. Like that 8X at the end of the day would be great. But the chances of me selling liquid funds and having Bitcoin in my bag and not have the thing about Hex that I love is Richard took everything that people did not know how to do and he did it for them. Guys like me do sell all their bags. I am not that smart when it comes to actually, but I had a great teacher, in my opinion. So I got a little bit of a head start, if you know what I mean. I just think it's really interesting, all of this stuff that's going on. Richard dropped so much alpha yesterday. He told us how he dumps his bags. He told us what he dumps. He told us, he's Teddy dumps ETH. He says, oh, you got to dump something for all these coins. I just don't want people to think I'm always keeping the price down. And I was like,
oh, I gotta listen to this. Was it?
I don't know if you'll be able to listen to it because it's like it's a choppy one. Like it's not. It's like there's no. It's a Twitter space, Sam. We're becoming the official Twitter space followers. Like we're the guys.
Yes.
I went to every single Telegram yesterday and said, if you don't have a Twitter, I'm streaming the Twitter spaces, and we had 100 live for like 4 hours. And it was great. And I didn't have to do anything except comment.
Yeah.
And so in those episodes are more for like farming new people for the show because I want more people to see the show. So when I stay longer, people get up at different times, get off at work at different times, check their phone. Oh, I never got a chance to see Jim Rat. Oh, and Sam, he called Alex Mashinsky a maggot. He called him a maggot in the first, and I clipped it and tweeted it to TikTok while I was streaming. It was down within 25 minutes, and I was getting explosive amount of notifications. It's the first TikTok I did in a while, but I posted on YouTube Shorts. So Sam, go to my YouTube channel and go to the Shorts, and the last one that posted is an absolute, like, Richard could be in jail for saying this, but he just couldn't stop.
I don't know.
You know what I mean? No, but like,
yeah.
totally joking about that. He's just.
I haven't checked out Dex Finance yet. Somebody just asked that in the chat. I have not checked it out yet.
Have you heard about Spooky X Swap?
Bro, when do you want to do a deep dive on that? Is it sushi? What the sushi where they're combining the bridge into a DEX? Oh fuck!
Get Crypto Sloth on tonight, and we'll all go through it. He already knows the shit.
The sushi one,
yeah,
or
he messaged me yesterday. He messaged me. He said you need to check out Spooky X Swap or whatever the fuck it was. Pancake, was it Pancake X Swap or Spooky X Swap? I think it was Pancake. I can't remember, but I have all the articles on my pulled up.
So let's watch. Let's get into let's go in through on the short that you had yesterday, and then we'll get into the article.
Not be algo friendly, but it's laughter friendly.
So this is it's just going to start for wherever it is.
That one.
Can you hear it?
To take your keys from you. I told everyone you're not smart enough to secure your own keys. You'll probably lose them. So give them to me and my company. This fucking maggot, who of course blocked me because every time I would be on a show facing him directly, I'd say, giving your keys to somebody else is the exact opposite of why crypto was invented. Crypto was invented to get this scumbag maggot piece of shit Mashinsky that one
Dude, he said that in front of a whole lot of people. And he did the Twitter Spaces yesterday, and it was one of the most intellectual, open-minded conversations between real people as possible, except there was a couple bad eggs in there. But again, nobody was making fun. Basically, everyone was like, you're richer than us, and we believe you. And
yeah, he said he was dumping Ethereum.
Like 4 times in the last few days. No,
it makes sense.
Well, no, he just mentions that he doesn't mention when or where or how much, but he mentions like everyone wants to know how these guys get out because then they can research harder. He says, I use Tornado Cash in Ethereum, bitch. That's what he says. Period. End of story. He's said it
about it many times.
He says it 100 times, and I'm done. I am done thinking about it.
Hey, what I'll do at some point is I'll get some cash on there, and we'll do a live stream on doing a transaction with Tornado Cash, so people get to
Argentina
see what's like.
Restricted BTC traders from selling into USD.
Interesting.
Bullish for Bitcoin.
Why the fuck would anybody want to? Yeah, why would anybody want to buy USD?
I love how all the broke people think that spending their Bitcoin is a good idea. Like you should probably keep the best asset since you've been broke your whole life. And not spend that.
If what I'm believing to be true plays out, where whether we see $3,000 Ethereum again and then a sell off, or
that'd be cool.
Right? Like I think that we will see a drop in Ethereum, so I might be potentially switching to, the LP to USDC LP at some point, because. I can buy
volatility.
Precious. Yeah, I can buy back a cheaper.
Well, I mean, if you know it's 60% down, why would you just? That's another click you're going to have to do. You know that you're just going to know the future before it's there, so you're going to want to stay sideways, right? Like, but I think the important thing to know, guys, is if you think you can time this market, you really can't. Like, no one can time the market, right? We can mention the Fed rates. Like, I could ask Sam right now, if the Fed hikes 0.75 here at the end of the month, what, as someone with your experience, does that do to the market?
Bro,
because that people think that's happening. Period.
I'm slightly contrary in some of the ways that I do things, and I think that's just because the way I've been brought up, being like homeschooled, you kind of like end up seeing things or like seeing the world and perceiving things a little differently. Because I was never in school, right, and then studying for finance for a decade and a half. Well, I think that there's a possibility. By the end of this year, absolute crazy talk, the Fed could start lowering rates. I think that is 100% possible, right?
Question for you: do they have to change their rates on the same day? Is there a single day that they pick, or do they just have consensus and then pick?
Well, although there's Fed meetings, I don't remember how many there is per year. Maybe like
Seems like
6 or 12.
4. I've seen like 2 so far.
Yeah. Somebody can let us know in the comments, like how many Fed meetings.
I've been trying to stay close on that, but they don't fucking spit it out. Any of you financial nerds in there, spit out. What's the schedule on those dorks?
And they'll come together and they will bring in all the data, and then they release the Fed meetings, right? Which is just like a transcription of like what they fucking talked about during the meetings, and it gives people an idea of how they're. The idea is that it gives people an idea how they're thinking. But I think that if they're expecting 75 basis points, I don't think we're going to see 75 basis points. I think it could be coming up. I think we could still see a rise, but I don't think it's going to be 75 basis points. I think it will be less than that. And I think by the end of the year, we're going to see expansionary policy, which is lowering rates. I think that's going to happen.
There's some, yeah, that would be great. Again,
which is crazy because that's
everyone
very,
in crypto says you won't be able to predict what happens, like for sure. Like it'll always be something that kind of catches you off. But as you get more nuance, you can kind of just like, okay, it can go a couple different ways. How far can it go? Right? Like how far can it go? 40K Bitcoin? Would Sam be surprised? Absolutely not. I just don't think so. I just don't think so at this market where we see 85% down, that of 30% up. Like it just makes sense, right? It's just a movement. On the way down, there's many ups, and on the way up, there's many downs. And it's like if you are affected by those things, there's liquid loans drama. Like big drama, like David Feeder, like fucking went on shit and was like he was working with them or like with a validator shit, and like if that's a big deal or if that was just bullshit, just let it slide. But if there's some actual links on that or something that I can look at, because I'm invested into that, so I'd like to know if there's any drama.
If you, I'm looking at the chart right now here for crude oil, and yeah, it's. Let me see if I can pull this up because I do want to get into that article for proof of stake. But if you look at crude oil, to get back onto like why I think the Fed could potentially be lowering rates by the end of the year, if you look at crude oil prices, right? Crude oil is just one measure of oil prices, but let's go back over the last 3 years, right? We've had we've had Biden in office for around 18 months now, and right, so this is
flesh and bones.
Right, we've had this gigantic run up in prices, but we've
seen the end of that, Sam.
Correct.
It's back down to a decent rate. So, like, look, if you look at it, guys. So that last spike is the only one. Like, so if you look at that last spike up, that last inch and a half of the chart, you can see that's the pretty, even a little below that before the big right there. If you look right there, that's probably where this chart should have stopped being so inflated, right? And now we're starting to return to those levels. So if we go down to this $75 mark ish,
right,
it seems like the chart would be where it belonged almost.
I mean, we got a lot of things happening here, bro. Oil prices, what do they affect? Everything, right? Every single fucking thing. How do we affect
the oil prices?
Well, so what happens when the price goes up? Do people make more of the thing because then they can get a higher return? If I'm in business, that's exactly what I have to do.
Oh boy, I got a deck screener on why David is upset. Oh, that's never good. I'll pull that up while you keep going.
So we have suppliers increasing supply because it's in their best interest, right? They make more money. So there's suppliers increasing the supply of what they're refining and what they're drilling, right? At the same exact time, we have this giant run up in prices, which allows them to make a lot more money each and on a countrywide basis. This is driving those prices down. And we've seen commodity prices tanking, whether it was copper or lumber or other things. Those have been coming down as well. I don't think in the second half of the year, at some point, I think we're going to see a tapering down of inflation. Our prices are going to be coming down. That's not what I said. Prices coming down and a decrease in inflation are two different things. But I think we're going to see a big drop off in inflation. And I don't think the Fed is going to continue this restrictive policy. I just don't see that happening towards the second half of the year. It just doesn't. I could be 100% wrong, but it just doesn't feel like that's the case. Maybe, they completely fuck up more shit. I don't know. But it seems like that we're moving in the other direction. away from this. We've had multiple 75 basis point increases in the rate. And now we have commodity prices tanking, other stuff. We have a recession, right? What happens during a recession? People lose their jobs, right? What does that mean? They spend less money. Like, it just, I don't see this playing out in the way they're going to want to stimulate the economy with recession and everything like that happening. With the prices coming down, people are going to spend it less. That means that demand is going to be dropping. We also, on the oil front, we have that shift to EVs. That's taking, people don't realize that 8% plus of the world population produced green vehicles last year. This year it's going to be 16%. People don't understand this shit, bro. 16% in 2022 of the world's global output of vehicles is going to be green vehicles. The year after that, it's going to be like over a third of the world's output is green vehicles. And people are like, oh, these gas car EVs are. So what does that do if people are switching to EVs? It reduces demand. What happens during a recession? It reduces demand.
Oh, that's a double demander because, guys, every smart rich dude has an electric car now. And not the ones that love to rev it up. Like, those guys are still doing their things with their cars, but most people don't give a rat's nut about revving it up. Trust me, because I don't.
Correct.
I just don't care about revving it. I don't care about going faster than this guy, even though, because I don't like the danger aspect of it. I've done enough dangerous shit in my life. I don't have to get a legal car to fucking kill myself. And I want a car that is more safe. Why is it more safe? One, you have to be a little more detail oriented when you think about it, because there is more details involved. When you're using a Tesla, by details, I mean, like, you're gonna have to learn some stuff about the car, but then it'll make it easier on you because you're learning good things. You're learning positive aspects to a vehicle that you never had to learn before, because they told you that just a regular car is the way to go, but it's not. It's not as good as an experience.
It's not as safe. It's
not as good as experience either, even just for fun. Like,
watch
my stream with Feeder from Friday. He addresses the LL edutainment, all in good fun, just dunking on each other sometimes. Yeah. Again, guys, you have no reason to trust liquid loans, nor do I. They can prove themselves and suck my balls. It was because they got $60 million. And if I had $60 million, how much do you think I'd be getting done? If you had to take a little guess, if GRC had $60,000 he had to spend on his business only, $60 million, do you think that I would be doing shit all the time? Yeah. I would have 150 people doing everything for me, except for streaming and making the ideas. And, I would be doing my thing still. And I'm not saying I don't know software, so let them do their thing. But you sacrifice money to them. This is a lesson to you, not to them. There is people that want your money always. Some of them good, some of them bad. If you want to blame someone else for marketing good and getting $60 million from you, I'd like to ask them how they did it. You know what I mean? Just think bigger. Think about your side of the story. Do you think I would ever sit here and say, liquid loans stole my money? I don't give a fuck. I don't. It's
because you made the choice. You made the choice to fucking put some money in.
And it was just a fucking shit little. It was $500 at the time, and I had like so much money in crypto at the time. It was nothing. It was like 1%, if not 1% of my portfolio at the time. But just know, I think it's important to know, like, we don't have to trust them, and they don't have to trust us. But if whoever wins does the best work, period. I don't have to wait to see if there's a social consensus here. If the shit doesn't work, everyone's gonna fucking get their pitchforks out.
I mean, but like, how big could liquid loans actually be, right? When you think about it, like, if you look at if you're using liquidity or whatever the fork is from Ethereum, I mean, they're not very big, personally speaking. Like, yes, they're successful. Yes, they're not getting like hacked and shit's not getting fucked up. But
they're up. You could just say they're up. They're still up. Like, it's still upright.
Exactly. And you don't know like, but it's just another protocol. Like, there's going to be far bigger L2 projects on Pulse. It's just, they're just talking about that because, like, they raised $60 million, but there's going to be projects that are just much bigger than that as time goes on. You know what I mean? There's going to be so many cool projects out there. You know what's really cool is the one by Jacob over in Europe, the Pulse Pot. Yep, that's a super interesting project.
Yeah, that one has product market fit, which is different than most of the others. I don't care what anyone says about liquid loans. No one know how to do that shit except for us weirdos. Like right now, I'm not saying in general. I'm saying right now on decentralized applications, not many people take loans out. Period. I can say that fairly, right?
Yeah.
I met like 6 or 7 guys.
Did you see my tweet the other day around gaming?
No.
So remember how we talked about a couple weeks ago that NFTs were kind of like what was a catalyst to create a boatload of adoption back in like 2019, 2020 into the crypto space, right? Because that was like the funnel, and then there was bleeding out into DeFi and like actual crypto versus, just the NFTs or on centralized exchanges. Well, we have a hypothesis that gaming could be the next one. So then what I did is actually took a look at this to understand what was going on. And just this is very, very broad data, but this is Google Trends. So this is for the word gaming. Worldwide over the last 5 years, this is web search, and you get to see that there's a clear trend up and to the right here. I don't know. And then if you look on YouTube, I don't think it's as extreme, if I remember correctly. Oh, there's from
that last chart looked like it was priming up for another bull market.
Well, this is, I think that we're onto something. I think that gaming could be the next.
You look, it's had more explosive in comparison moments. So like if you look back in the chart, those moments were much more explosive than the one we're currently in at this exact moment, like right at the end of the chart. I would not be surprised to see a peak on the end of that. And you know what that takes? One fucking game.
But look at this. Look at this. All the way over here, say 34, right? Where are we at right now? We're at a 69. Okay, so there's been a double in search volume.
Wow.
For the word gaming, a double in the last 5 years.
And there hasn't been big news in gaming, period. I don't need to ask because I was in the gaming space when those last bull markets were going on. And like, there's been nothing since Fortnite. Nothing. There's nothing the kids are playing the same way that they were playing Fortnite.
Now,
see that big peak at the top there?
Yeah.
That's called Fortnite peak.
That was probably Fortnite, yeah.
Right there. That I don't even need to look at the date. I don't have to do anything. I do not have to look. I know enough about this market to know Fortnite created that bull market, just like before Call of Duty created that bull market. And before that, Halo created that bull market. So there's like signature games that kind of spring. It would seem to me like there's only like 4 games in this world that people really fucking spend their whole lives playing. And those are Call of Duty, Fortnite, those shit, and then like World of Warcraft and stuff like this.
But I think that there's going to be a blockbuster game on crypto. I think there's going to be a blockbuster game.
It's called like AAA.
There's going to be a AAA game, a blockbuster game that draws new people into gaming, but it's going to be on crypto, and that will be the next adoption phase for this. Because what happens with crypto? Crypto is not mainstream. Crypto is on the fringe, right? We are on the fringe of society here, and only people in crypto are on the fringe. So who else is on the fringe? Gaming. People who fucking game all the effing time, right? Who are people who are going to get a good understanding of crypto the easiest. Remember, there's a gargantuan knowledge gap between fucking normies and crypto. Right?
Guys that can click 1,100 interfaces on their computer at the same time to defeat a battle.
Who has a smaller gap? People
they do.
Fucking
they
gaming.
know everything.
Yes. How can you bridge a gap like this? Well, you just fucking step over it. How do you bridge that gap like this? Well, you got to climb all the way down, walk all the way over, and then climb up the other side. This gap for gamers is going to be smaller. We need one blockbuster game in crypto, one AAA rated game where people are interested that is on blockchain.
I don't understand, Sam. I don't understand it because the way that games are built right now, it just seems like the blockchain wouldn't fit. Like Ethereum wouldn't fit. You think I'm going to wait 5 minutes for a transaction on a video game? You're out of your fucking mind. There's zero video games that would let you wait more than 4 seconds to do a loading screen.
Well,
They-
maybe it's like per level or something, or
but
maybe
the
it's only in the
standards are
store.
so high in gaming. Like the standards are like mind-bending dopamine for 700,000 hours at a time. Like and so the problem that arises that I'm finding is that or learning about is that building on the blockchain is not fun.
You
It's
got a small amount of space and it's slow.
so the slowness. So they would have to
'Cause
build directly on top of Pulse Chain. They would have to build directly on top of BNB, or they would have to direct toply on something that was fast.
Yes.
It has
But
to be
it
fast.
doesn't necessarily have to be built. Like it could be something where related to like an NFT that's on the blockchain that is part of the game, and you use that in the game, but then you bring it back to the blockchain or something. I don't know enough about it.
What I would want to have personally is a game where I have to do all the metrics in the game, but let's say I have to cut down trees in the game. If I cut down a certain amount of trees and I'm a certain amount efficient at it and I do it properly, I actually earn rewards.
Yes.
In the form of in the game, they're coins. But if you cash them out of the game, so there's going to be an interface. I'm going to get this idea stolen. There's going to be an interface where, so you just do the game, right? The game's separate, right? Game, all over here. The coins you earn in the game, there's a marketplace for that.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking. Yes,
You can convert those coins into real bonds or real. So
currency
like
to
there's
use
a certain amount, whether that's a lot or a little, whether it's $1 or $100. It's like there's a certain amount that
like the playing is not going to happen on blockchain. The transactions or the that is going to happen on blockchain, and that can bring in the next big wave of fuckers.
Because the game that I kind of have been playing with and looking around at and doing YouTube searches on, they earn gold. There's a market. There's an AMM bot within the game. There is a grand exchange where every buy and sell goes into, and people sit there all day long and they just game it and they sell it for bonds. But the bonds are not on the blockchain. None of that shit's on the blockchain. It's all deep. It's all centralized ownership. And so all we really have to do is switch the centralized ownership piece, have product market fit. But I need like $40 million.
Tron, I think Tron.
I'd like $40 million. I swear to God, I could probably do it.
I think Tron is doing something interesting at gaming. I don't know a lot about it, but does anybody know anything about Tron? I think they're a separate network like Ethereum or BNB or Pulse is going to be, but I think Tron is doing something interesting in gaming because I see the communities, a lot of fucking awesome communities in crypto, but they're very like interested in that shit, right? And think that it's going to be awesome and related to gaming and building out a platform or something around that shit.
Dude, Marco, you're smart, and he's right. And I was thinking about this too. So within the problem, Sam, the problem with gaming is that there's nobody that cares enough to just try not to milk those microtransactions. So basically, microtransactions in a game are like you can spend $3 or $4 or $10 or $25 to like purchase things within the game that you had to work within the game to get. But basically, guys, adults or people with money can just pay for the right.
Correct.
That ruins games because it's no longer a game. It's just like who's paying for what. So there would have to be somebody with the ethos of not wanting money straight up, like at the front end. And more so, it would be like, oh, I have a lot of money already. I want to see if I can make this work. Because fair gaming, let's be honest, fair anything, let's be honest, it's just rare now.
But here's the thing. I don't play games. You have played games, right? So there would be a decent chance if we played a game that you would just destroy me if it was a shooting game, right? So if I go in there and I buy all this fucking cool shooting shit that you fucking play games with, and then you and I play a shooting game and you don't, and you just get the stock shit that has
that's
whatever,
true. Yeah, so
you're still going to destroy me.
Yeah, you're
even
right.
if I have fucking good shit.
Thing. Oh, guys, I know I have talked so much shit about video games in my life. I mean, I've made people truthfully weep about me saying that they were less than a man from playing video games all day. And I don't think playing video games is bad. I think being addicted to video games is pathetic. Anyway, that's not the point. Guys, so I had this rare experience. This is a rare experience where I have a lot of time at my computer now. So I actually I downloaded the customer service like interface for this game, and I got in contact with one of the guys, and I was like, dude, I'm 28 years old. I ain't working anymore. I had an account in 2012 and I want it back. Is this possible? And he said, yeah, sure. And then like I gave him all these receipts and everything, and I got the game back. Funny, do you know, Sam? The game has actually inflated with real inflation almost to the T. Everything that I had in the game was about 16 times more the cost than it was 10 years ago. So everything in my bag 16x'd from me not playing the game. Proof of weight. It exists everywhere. It exists everywhere. When I was playing that game, 1 million coins was like, oh my God, this guy has 1 million coins. Now 1 billion coins is that number. It's I'm not even fucking with you. The average cost of a good weapon is like 300 mil. It used to be like 1 mil when I was fucking playing. And I'm just learning, right? Seeing this game, seeing it for what it is, and looking up the YouTube content. And there's 200,000 people that play this game every day, you know? So they are doing stuff right. And it's an interesting thing to watch. Gaming has explosive potential. But you see how I think about it? I don't think about it as like, oh, I want to play this game all 24/7, right? I think about it as like, what are they doing? How are they doing this? Wow. They're getting people to pay for their game, play it, and avoid their lives. Pretty much.
I don't play games. I know nothing about games.
But you're bullish.
But I'm very bullish on gaming, bringing in people that will leverage my fucking bag. Like I'm 100% down with that shit. You know, whoever's developing that fucking thing that brings in a new, you know, several million people into crypto. Yeah, go do that shit because it is massive. Like,
hey, if you have a little weak spot for a game, drop a game below. I just want to know, like, or a bicep, drop it below. If any of you guys have a game that you like to play, I just want to catch a beat on like, what do people like to play?
Leverage loans, another name for liquid loans? No, that's something different.
I think that was just a joke.
Oh, could be. Nice one.
Yeah, that's Pulse Lord. He's a Sam. No, not this time. Pay to win, always win. Yeah,
it wouldn't. It went with me.
Well, no, with your
just
game,
with people who fucking play.
It sucks. He is right though. He's right on the money. He's right on the money because in a lot of these games, Sam, you don't have to kill anyone. You just have to have value. Like if you wear whatever you're wearing, it's like, oh, you're the richest dude of all the rich dudes. It's like the same thing as real life. It's like if you have a Lamborghini, whether it's rented or real, whether you have $1 billion or like 300 million, it's like nobody knows.
Yeah, there's a lot of like it doesn't matter what characters I played. If I would ever, my brothers would play video games every once in a while.
You ever heard of Candy Crush?
Candy Crush? Yes, I have no.
A game where you just like swipe little candies and like match them up like a pattern, and then they like disappear. And
Tetris kind of.
It's like even dumb, like less smart. Like like this is just basically like you just like touch the screen. It's like if you knew, look up on your search bar right now, like transaction volume Candy Crush, and it'll probably crush any crypto project out of the water that's ever existed in history. And it's a stupid little line the game up, like puzzle.
Yeah, I remember like
and like my grandma plays it. My, you know, like everyone with fingers that is new to the internet plays it.
That's
it's just like their entry to like having fun on your phone.
Yeah, oh, well, in 2017 they did 700 million, 2018 930 million, 2019 1.1 billion, 2020 almost 1.2 billion.
This is a free game. Those are all microtransactions.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Gaming, bro. Gaming is going to.
If someone does it right, there has to be a noble man to do this properly, in my opinion, or a very rich man.
Has to have something that people are going to be. It doesn't Candy Crush, right? Fucking, you just said it's a stupid game, right? Like all these other games are stupid to me because I don't fucking play them, right? They're not even slightly interesting to me. But something like that is going to get people on crypto, using crypto, understanding crypto, that's going to open the faucet to expanding DeFi drastically, because that people in NFTs, there's a boatload of people who got into NFTs who didn't know anything about crypto, and then they started to learn about crypto, right? And not everybody, but the same thing will happen with the gaming shit whenever that does click. Like I know there's a lot of projects out there trying to work on, creating that in some fashion. And somebody's going to get the formula right at some point where it's going to have product market fit for the game and on the right network at the right time. And it's going to grow infectiously. And it's going to be super helpful for all of us. It's going to be very helpful for all of us. Battlefield 4, I think it's something my brother played.
Yeah, and I think it's important to note just last time, like we're basically talking about like bonding out value from these games, not necessarily working with the game on the blockchain, just because I just know the transaction times are too slow for the interface, so you would have to do it separately. You would have to, but again, all of everything that, and this is true, Bullish just said it in the private chat, but this is very true. Everything that's happening in crypto, everything that's happening in gaming, everything that's happening with everything has already happened. Like that. Like the technology already exists. It might not be used to like its full force, but like it's silly to think that the tech for like guys would joke. I'm sure guys that make these Fortnite games would laugh in the dev room of like whatever blockchain games there, because the tech's not there. Like they're just not there yet. They don't have the bodies, they don't have the money, but we know who has the money. I mean, those video game guys have fuck tons of money. Well, let's jump off the video game thing because that'll probably be a while. We can just, and Sam, you can get off whenever you like.
Cool. I'm gonna jump off in here in just a minute. Did you want to get into the recap from the RH stream, your takeaways on that real quick, and then I'm gonna jump off.
Yeah, so basically my recap from the RH stream was this. These guys respected RH's word, and they all were waiting for him to speak. Everyone else who was in there is basically just like wanted to be in there because RH was in there. And he just laid down the law. He just told you exactly what he felt like. He told you where he sells his money. People asked him questions. He told you to use Kraken. He told you about BitPay. He bought a Ferrari.
What was the reason?
A Ferrari with Ethereum on BitPay.
What was the reason to use Kraken and what is BitPay?
I don't know what BitPay is, but it's a way that you purchase things with crypto. And some young lady was shilling Litecoin and shit the whole time yesterday because that's somebody was paying her to do so. And basically he was telling you why Litecoin was trash. And then he mentioned BitPay because a lot of the people that use Litecoin use BitPay. And he's like, well, if you actually want to use BitPay, you can use Ethereum because that's what I did to buy my Ferrari. And we were like, oh, like there's another, like, because these are things I haven't even heard of here. So, and then he mentioned we have 3-second block times over the 13-second block times. Yeah, I saw that. And then
the safest crypto app to buy, store, swap, and spend cryptocurrency all in one app. That's what BitPay says on their main site.
Middleman cock.
You get a BitPay card, I guess it says.
It's just a bunch of middleman cock.
Yes. So you probably load just like other things.
But when you're buying a Ferrari, guys, you don't really care about the middleman cock just as the same way as you do when you're not. So he basically just said, like, I didn't care. Like, if you have that much crypto and somebody's actually willing to accept it, like maybe that is just worth it. But in general, anyway, the whole point about, I can't remember exactly what he said yesterday, but he had some fire ass points. He's going on a media run right now. Like he is on some sort of platform almost every day over the last week. And
it's good.
I've been covering it. All of it. Unapologetically. I've just been covering it. Excited to cover RH. I'm not one of those guys who's gonna get like fudded out of RH by being like, oh, you guys love RH so much. It's like, I don't give a fucking shit. And I'd beat your ass if we were talking in real life. So what the fuck? It has nothing to do with RH as a entity. RH, to be honest, is fat. He is different than I am. I don't know him personally. I know that he's a great guy, and I read his book because, I think he's a great guy because I read his book. But at the end of the day, it's like, I like Hex because it's Hex. If there was another dude that was doing it, I'd have probably found it. Me and Richard aren't the same person. I respect him intellectually. What else am I supposed to respect him by? It has nothing to do with the fucking cars. I was over that in fucking 13 years old. I saw a fancy car. Like,
cool. Yes. Cool.
Anyway, guys, I think that's good for both of us today. I might come on here later and have a chat 6 p.m. potentially. Sam wants to join us. I woke up late today. Again, it's Sunday. I made a commitment to do the show every day, and some days I guess Sunday is a normal day where people kind of lay off a little bit. So everyone, hit the like, hit the subscribe. I've been going hard AF the last few days. I think I streamed for like 12 hours in the last 3 days, not including today. I did a 5-hour live stream when you got off that one day. Not yesterday, but the day before. I think I was 4 hours. I was on at 3:30, I think. So like I remember being on at like 3:30, 3:40. And I'm covering these RH live streams because, guys, why? Let me tell you exactly why I'm putting these pieces together, and everyone will do the same thing right behind me. Trust me. There's a premium in people that like RH but don't have Twitter. There's a premium there, and they DM me and they're like, I would have never seen that Twitter space in a million years if you did not stream it on your show. Yep. And that's when I was like, I'm gonna stream all these things. Yep. Because 1, it's directly on topic, and 2, it's absolutely fire content, and 3, it's actually getting people in here that don't use Twitter, because some people hate fucking Twitter.
Correct. No, it's a good point. There's people who do that with ads, right? You can take an ad from this platform and you can put it on this platform, and this is a giant audience, and it works over here too. Same exact thing you're doing here. You just arbitrage between the two. Let's take
live Twitter Spaces parties on this channel always. Live, la 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 la.
Let's take us out with some DeFi proof.
Yeah, guys, biceps in the chat. I'll see you guys later, probably. If you have any suggestions for the show, if you have any suggestions for me, if you have anything you want us to cover, please, right when this is over, drop it in the comment. I want to see you guys in the comments. Just post one word, anything. I want to look and see what you guys want me to cover in the bear market, because it's a lot more open-ended. Guys, have an absolutely fantastic day. DeFi proof.
Peace.
What up?
You already know what time it is.
Fuck, I pressed the button.
Young folks, you tripping on them motherfucker.
Rich your heart. Just rich your heart.
Bought my hex from the fucking start. Point one everything we mark. Bought my hex from the fucking start. Sacrificing all this bread like I'm Richard Hart. Got paid on big payday and I had a hairy start. Now I'm checking on my pulse just to check my heart. Bought my hex from the fucking start. Sacrificing all this bread like I'm Richard Hart. Got paid on big payday and I had a hairy start. Now I'm checking on my pulse just to check my heart. Checking my MetaMask moving. Look at the hex, he is mooning. Looking at why they be choosing. Peter is why they be losing. Pull chains out and they'll get me a check. He's gas up and it got me a mess. Remember the times he died collect. Hex I been eating, I'm dying in the best. Getting this back like a year ago. Getting this post, I ain't letting go. Swerving the ring like a Lambo. Getting this back like a year ago. Getting this post, I ain't letting go. Swerving the ring like a Lambo. Bought my hex from the fucking start. Sacrificing all this bread like I'm Richard Hart. Got paid on big payday and I had a hairy start. Now I'm checking on my pulse just to check my heart. Bought my hex from the fucking start. Sacrificing all this bread like I'm Richard Hart.